I cover boxing, okay. So I'm in boxing. I wasn't aware of him as an amateur. I wasn't aware of him out of Nicaragua. I heard about him from the Japanese promoters. I heard about him from Taken Promotions. And I think Taken Promotions was alerted to his talent by the WBA. And the WBA said, hey, there was this kid, he was an amazing amateur, he was trained for a little while, mentored by the late great Alexis Arguello. He's turning pro, you want to keep your eye on him.
Pues la verdad, mi papá, en ese tiempo lo poníamos unos guantes de luz, guantes de esos eléctricos, lo poníamos a estarlo golpeando con los muchachos y sucesivamente al tiempo lo dimos dando cuenta que teníamos talento.
So whatever your talent is, if you have talent for playing soccer and that's your way out of poverty, they're going to encourage that. They're going to push that. If you're smart and you've got a track, you've got a route to school. If you have that luxury, if you have an opportunity to go to school and education is your way out, well then education is going to be your way out. If you have a talent for music, then it's going to be music. His talent was obviously fighting.
Pero a la misma vez tampoco nunca lo imaginamos llegar tan lejos, porque en ese tiempo los recursos eran tan difíciles, no teníamos un par de guantes.
You know, fighters that grow up poor in foreign countries outside of the United States, they don't grow up with photographers following them around. They don't grow up with, you know, people trying to give them free t-shirts. They don't grow up with people trying to be a part of their team. They grow up and they're just poor. And then they get their first fight, and guess what? After their first fight, they're still poor.
No, perdón, 1,500 pesos, que son como $50.
You know, it's the classic story that you see of fighters. They grow up poor. Poverty kind of shapes them and molds them into who they are and what they'll become later on in life. And it hardens their outside. But for a guy like Chocolatito, his inside was never really hardened the same way his competitive spirit was.
Bueno, valorar las cosas, ¿verdad? Que todo en este mundo, las cosas que uno quiere en esta vida, se tiene que sacrificar, luchar para alcanzar lo que quiere.
It was just top contenders. He kept fighting them until he was like the Ring Magazine's #1 strawweight. And then in 2010, early in 2010, he stepped up to junior flyweight, 108 pounds. And it wasn't long until he proved to be the #1 rated Ring Magazine junior flyweight. And I think it was in 2012, maybe his second time fighting in Southern California. He fought at the Sports Arena, and he fought a Mexican prospect named Juan Francisco Estrada.
Bueno, fue una pelea realmente bien dura, bien difícil, ¿verdad? Fue una pelea aguerrida del primero a los 12 asaltos. Pero realmente pues fue una pelea que a ambos les enseñó muchas cosas.
You know, when Chocolatito fought Juan Francisco Estrada, really all I had known about both of them was reading their names in a headline, maybe on an article on Boxing Scene or on Max Boxing or, you know, in Dan Raphael's Monday scorecard. And then when I seen them fight, okay, we're going to pay attention to these guys.
Started working with Chocolatito. And that was it's also one of my proud accomplishments, is taking a guy who was really one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world, but just didn't get the recognition. You know, back then, flyweight, super flyweight, you know, really anything under bantamweight, anything under featherweight really wasn't getting a lot of attention, especially HBO.
So for Chocolatito, I don't think he really moved the needle to the general American population until he debuted on HBO.
We have so much love for HBO because HBO was able to really, you know, bring that stardom aspect into the U.S. for Roman. I mean, Roman has always been obviously very famous in Nicaragua and very famous in Japan, but there was something missing here in the U.S. We had fought in the Fairplex in Pomona, but, you know, his stardom wasn't there. Only like the diehard fans were there.
You did have that great fight at the Forum, I remember, with Chiquita Gonzalez versus Michael Carbajal. So you gotta give HBO credit for that fight and this Superfly series that we started with HBO.
This little guy has been fighting, and he's been fighting the best. I think he had just beaten Edgar Sosa in his HBO debut, and he blew out Sosa. Nobody had blown out Sosa. Sosa was a former champion who had like 10 title defenses. Not a guy you just wipe out in 2 rounds, and that's exactly what Chocolatito did at the Forum in the co-feature to a Gennady Golovkin fight. In fact, I would say he outperformed Golovkin. He was that much of a badass.
Because the guys weren't really earning a lot of money in that division, it was easy to make the matchups because they were just hungry, just like with Gennady. They just wanted to get the exposure. So Chocolatito, who had beaten so many guys, so many top guys, he wound up getting the exposure, and then everyone's like, oh, this is a great fighter, and then he like rose to the top of everyone's pound for pound lists.
To have Srisakeso Rangvisai, Chocolatito Gonzalez, Juan Francisco Estrada, Carlos Cuadras, and the monster, the debut of Naoya Inoue, who's now a top 3 pound for pound player. That was genius by Tom Loeffler, and hats off to HBO for helping him put that together, giving him the money and the platform to show American fans how awesome junior bantamweights / super flyweights are.
Chocolatito goes on this dominant run for so many years, beating the absolute best in the strawweight division, the light flyweight division, the flyweight division, the super flyweight division. And he has consistency throughout this just reign of dominance. and then he loses his trainer.
Bueno, realmente, pues sí, la verdad que sí, es difícil realmente cuando tenés mucho tiempo con un entrenador, ¿verdad? Y al ver que ya no confía, pues, en otra persona, es bien difícil.
The fight with Cuadras was grueling. It was tough. His face was lumped up after those 12 rounds, and it was very emotional because he did something that his idol, Alexis Arguello, wasn't able to do, and that is win a world title in a fourth weight class. So he made history for Nicaragua. It was very important for him. And then not long after, his trainer and his mentor, he suffers a stroke, and he doesn't survive. He goes into a hospital, and he does not come out. And so this incredible high and this incredible low, you know, going into like the holiday season, that was tough. I think that was very, very hard on him.
Obando had trained Chocolatito for a long time. And when you lose somebody like that knows you in and out, makes your food for you through every camp, probably helps you get through your problems, talks to you about what's going wrong and right in the world, and you lose that, and you got to go in and fight one of the biggest punchers ever seen in your division.
And it might have been a mistake for him to come back before he was emotionally together to fight that mandatory Srisaket Sorungvasai, who was a monster.
Un entrenador entregado, ¿verdad?, a este mundo del boxeo. Ponía mucho emoción, ánimo. La pérdida de él, pues, a todo el equipo del team lo dolió mucho, ¿verdad? Y pues, la verdad que algunas cosas, pues, cambiaron. Aprendimos muchas cosas buenas de él, ¿verdad? Y pues, la verdad que un hombre que lo sentimos orgullosamente, de que disfrutamos tantas cosas buenas de él.
And I think losing Obando affected him greatly. In fact, I would not have been surprised had he retired.
We have a team again. After Arnulfo died, it was very difficult. We went into the Rubenstein fight, which the first one, I have no doubt in my heart and in my brain that we won that fight.
That loss to me doesn't diminish Chocolatito's legacy. In fact, fights like that add to your legacy. But there was something missing. There was something missing in both of those Sorungvasai fights, and taking nothing away from the Thai champion.
When you are at the top, the way Chocolatito was, #1 pound for pound fighter in the world, internationally recognized, undeniably the best, and you lose in spectacular knockout fashion the way Chocolatito did, the public instantly forgets all of the accomplishments that you achieved on the way to becoming #1 pound for pound. Not to mention, the American audience didn't even see 3/4 of Chocolatito's career. They might have seen his last 5-6 fights. But his rise to greatness went completely undocumented.
We knew we had to, rebuild the team.
I had the chance to be in a training camp with them, and I learned from his old trainer. We became good friends.
No, porque tiene casi todas las cualidades que Arnulfo: cocina, te levanta en la mañana, está pendiente de vos, casi la mayoría. Realmente hay muchos entrenadores, puede entrenar.
I learned the cooking, what he makes for him. I was always watching. I always take points on each training camp. Never knew that I was going to be one day training him. The day that I got the call from Carlos It's a big challenge for me.
Tienes que tener un entrenador vivo, inteligente. La Biblia te enseña en Josué 1:9 que uno lo tenemos que esforzar y ser valiente, ¿verdad? Luego habla sobre que todos corren el estadio, pero solo uno se lleva la corona, ¿verdad? En Filipenses habla también esforzado de toda armadura, ¿verdad? De la acechanza del diablo. Y uno tenemos que esforzarlo día a día para alcanzar los sueños que uno realmente quiere alcanzar. Pero primeramente, para alcanzar esos sueños hay que ponérselo en las manos de Dios.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.